welcome to Happy Hour. I'm Haley Chura, joined again by Jocelyn Wong Neill. Jocelyn, it has been a busy couple weeks, and I am so excited to catch up with you today. How have you been? And what are you drinking?
Yeah, we wanted to get started right away because I was like, I'm thirsty. And you're like, me too. So I just came back from the beach today. And so this is like leftover vacation cocktails, but it's like a can of Dogfish Head cocktails. So this is the local brewery down by the Delaware beaches. And this is a vodka lemon drop. I am pouring it. It's blueberry citrus.
That sounds so good.
I put like real blueberries with my ice. I'm just gonna pour it, and it apparently has 2 shots in this 12-ounce bottle.
So jealous right now. I'm so jealous. I'm jealous of your trip to the beach. Jealous of your vodka lemon drop.
It's kind of pinkish.
Purple. It's like
Pinkish
blueberry
purplish.
looking.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Cheers.
Yes. What about you? What are you drinking? Cheers.
I have a Mountain Standard IPA. Every time I go to this local brewery, I just went to this local brewery today and I looked at the Pilsners and I was like thinking of Aaron Trail and I'm like, I need to try a Pilsner. And I got an IPA. But Odell's Brewing Mountain Standard IPA, cool can. I love my IPAs.
Yay.
I love my IPAs.
I love
have a fun
IPAs
glass.
too.
Yes. So one of these days we'll bring Aaron Trail back for more gear and reviews and just chatting with her, and then I'll have Pilsner on that situation. Oops.
Well, she's supposed to be
I'm
racing
overboard.
Milwaukee Nationals too.
You too could enjoy a Pilsner.
We
That's
could.
right. Okay. Before we get into like all my recent travels, how is your drink?
Ooh, it's pretty good.
Yay, I'm excited for 2-shot Jocelyn. And then how is your training for Milwaukee? Because you are training for USAT Nationals sprint distance in Milwaukee in a few weeks, I think now. And you had a really specific swimming goal that we've chatted about a few times on the show.
Yes. So I don't think I made the goal until like after the last time I was on here, but then it was just, what was it? So it's like 11 days away.
Oh, it's only 11 days away now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm doing the
just
draft.
over a week.
Yeah, the draft legal sprint is Friday. I'm doing mixed team relay on Saturday, and I'm the first leg, which is kind of scary, but exciting. And then Sunday, I'm doing the non-draft, the regular sprint non-draft. So this time in 2 weeks, I'll be totally done.
Oh, I can't wait for our show in 3 weeks then, after we get to chat with you about all of that. I don't think I totally grasped that you were racing 3 times, that you were really making a multi-sport weekend out of it.
And then, so I was having the hardest time just motivating myself to train because I was just like, I don't know, the sprint distance doesn't scare me. I could do it without training, but then it was like, but I also don't want to embarrass myself. I've just had so much other stuff going on in my life that it's like, do I really care that much how I rank in the US amongst 45 to 49-year-old women? Not really.
Yes, you care. I care. We all care.
I kind of care, but I feel like when I was training for this last year, it was like, I really want to get top 3. Like, I was like so driven. And this year I'm like, nah. So I figured that I really needed to swim. That was because I could lose 5 to 8 minutes in the swim, but there's no way I could lose that much in like a 5K run or on the bike. So I think it was the beginning of the month, I finally went to do Monday night open water swimming, and I was like, let's see if I can swim 15 times before nationals, which would mean pretty much like swimming every other day or like 3 times a week-ish, if not more. And so I'm up to 8.
Oh, are we going to get 7 swims in the next 11 days?
So I only got 2 swims this week, which puts me a little bit behind, and I'm just like, oh crap. And because we went to the beach, I was not swimming. Although, okay, technically I was in the pool with Ainsley, which doesn't count in my count of 15. Like I
Okay.
made this, like, you know how you just make these like very arbitrary challenges for yourself. So
Yeah.
I was like, every swim has to be at least, I would say 800, because my distance is like 750. But I've swam like over 1200 every time, so that's
Okay.
not a problem. But yeah,
Okay. I think you can do
Ainsley
it.
wanted to go in the hotel swimming pool like multiple times, so there was a lot of pool time on vacation, but not
Okay.
actual like swimming. So next week I might have to swim like 4 or 5 times.
I love it. I think you can do it. 7 swims in the next 11 days. I think you have it in you for that
Hmm.
750-meter sprint distance race. So that's for the draft legal and for the non-draft legal. Those two races, you'll be 750 meters. And then how long is the relay swim?
Oh, oh my gosh. So mixed team relay is 225. And
225 meters.
yeah, and we were
Short.
on this group email like with my relay teammates, like trying to figure out what the order is. So it's me and my friend Victoria, one of her male friends who's, I think she's raced with before, and then my coach's husband Chris is going to be our anchor. He's pretty fast. So between me and Victoria, she's like a much better swimmer, but overall I'm fitter than her now. So she was like, I think you should go first because the swim should be short enough that you could bridge up to the first group on the bike. I was like, oh.
I like this strategy.
You
Have you ever done
underestimate
one of
how
these
far back
before?
I'm going to be on the swim, but I have never done a mixed team relay, so it's pretty exciting.
I've heard really good things. I haven't done it myself, but I've coached athletes who have, and
Hmm.
I've heard really good things. I think they're very fast and furious. And have you worked on your transitions? Because that's a big deal when you're only swimming 225 meters.
No, I need to practice transitions. I just need to do it like every day.
Yeah, you need to like go to the pool. Is
Uh,
there like a nice little field or parking lot near the pool that you could just like do them both?
Not really.
No. But I would say practicing transitions, I bet, is definitely worth it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's also just supposed to be a fun event. So I'm excited for you. I'm very excited. I feel like I'm invested in this in Milwaukee Nationals now. I don't think I have any athletes racing there this year, but I am quite invested and I'm excited for you. And I think the swimming will pay off. And I think it was good to set this goal because this is a lot more swimming than you've done previously, even
It's so
if you
much
don't hit
more
15.
swimming. I know. I was like, it's been a really long time since I've like swam 3 times a week, and then like this week I might just have like my 3 regular swims, and then like throw in a couple 800-meter swims.
Yes. Do you feel like your swimming feels better? Does it feel better when you swim more often?
Yes, definitely. Like I could tell that it's the whole like what do you guys say? The feel for the water. And so I can tell.
The feel
Like
for the water. We love that
it's one of
saying.
those things where I'm like I could do it if I really want to. I just have trouble convincing myself to like want to.
I think a lot of people relate to that, especially with swimming.
Hmm.
I've talked to a few other retired pros, and they're like, "But I would never go swimming again." They're like, "You still swim?" And I was like, "Yes, I love it. I love it." You know,
Hmm.
there is the 11-year-old in me who was so excited for morning practice, and that person is still there, and I do love it. Although I do swim a lot less now, or a lot less than I used to these days. So
Hmm.
I miss that real good swim fitness feeling. I think that feels really really nice, and maybe hopefully I'll get back there someday. But I last time we talked, it was I think after I had run this race. I'm wearing my hat for the Bangtail
That's
Divide
right.
38K, and
It was the
and then
Bangtail recap.
yes, and we had very ambitious plans to record last week. Where I don't know who thought that would be a good idea
It was
after
your
I
idea.
had it was my idea. Sometimes I get a little over my skis. I don't know what the saying is. That's an appropriate one for like having been in Lake Placid, where they hosted the Winter Olympics and they had those iconic ski jumps. But I was
Hmm.
definitely thinking I could do it and I couldn't. But I was like, I'm going to commentate all day at Ironman Lake Placid, and then I'm going to drive more than 2 hours to Albany, drop off my car, go to the hotel room, and record a podcast with you. That was my initial plan. That was my life plan. I thought I could do it. And I did do the commentary. I thought it would be really good, and it probably would have been really good, except I got sidetracked. First, I got ice cream with Brittany Talbot, who had been on the show. Her race did not go to plan. She unfortunately had some trouble during the swim and got pulled from the swim, which was a big bummer. So she did not get to finish the swim, did not get to finish the race. But I did, as her coach, I was like, we've got to go get ice cream. So we went and we're getting ice cream after. Also, me as a human needed some ice cream. And I think Lake Placid is like known for their maple ice cream. And so every other day we tried to go, the line was too long. And so that's the one nice thing about after the race or after the pro race, is like we can get to the ice cream parlor before the masses.
Before it's too busy.
So we went and got this ice cream, and it was so good. But we were standing outside the ice cream parlor, and we ran into Chelsea Sodaro and Fiona Moriarty and Kate Alexander, and they were going to dinner, and I was like, we got to go to dinner. And so we went to dinner with them, had a fantastic time post-race, and I had initially planned to record with you around 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and I didn't leave Lake Placid until 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So it was a very late night getting to Albany.
Wow.
I know. I do feel like I have not really slept except for last night in the last 2 weeks. So it has caught up to me, but should we talk about the race in Lake Placid? It's a week ago now, but I feel like it's still a good thing to talk about.
It was also your birthday week. I feel like your birthday got sandwiched in between Boise and Lake Placid, so happy birthday.
Thank you. I have a cupcake here. I actually have two, but one I've already eaten half of it. But we had some technical difficulties and I got hungry. So I have one for you too, but I did bring a cupcake. Just thank you for celebrating my birthday. It has been wild. I know. To recap my last week of life, I took a red-eye flight to Lake Placid on a Thursday night with it was 3 legs of this red-eye flight, and it was delayed. I was sprinting through airports. It was miserable. I got to Albany. Albany Airport has a working area, a place where you can work, and for free. It was so nice. I got so lucky because I needed to work, right? Because I also did this with no PTO. So I set up 2 computers in there, and I worked for a few hours on Friday after release red eye, and then I signed off and closed my stuff up, got in the car, and drove 2.5 hours straight to the pro meeting, because I do as a commentator, I love it if I can go to the pro panel or pro meeting. I miss the pro panel, but if I can go and just see who's there, I think first of all, because pros are required to go to the pro meeting, and also it feels a little special when you get to go to the pro meeting because they are supposed to be athletes only, but they let me in. And and to be honest, Jocelyn, I was in such a bad mood driving there because this is the longest. It was 2.5 hours, the longest I've driven in 3 years. And I'm not cut out for driving that far.
You don't drive very long.
I had to stop in Lake George area at a Starbucks and because I was so scared. I was so tired, and I got an iced coffee because I can't drive 2.5 hours without stopping either.
That's okay.
Sore.
I'm the same.
I don't have that kind of endurance anymore. And so I get to Lake Placid. I can't find this pro meeting. I'm walking behind this high school. I'm just so tired, so disoriented. And a man who works for Ironman saw me on the street, and I was like, "Can you tell me where the pro meeting is?" He's like, "Yeah, Haley, yeah." He knew who I was, and he's like, "Just make sure you sign in on the form in the front." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not racing," but I was like, "You just made my day because you still see me as an athlete." And Samantha Rothberg, who's been on this podcast, actually said she talked to me before the pro meeting when I was lost, and then I talked to her after, and she was like, "Oh my God, it's a different person." And so Ironman Haley, much happier. Even just being around an Ironman, not racing an Ironman, I was so happy when I got to go in there and I got to see my athletes, Brittany and Vanessa, who were on this show a couple weeks ago talking about that. I got to see them, and just a lot of the other pro women who I really admire, and even some of the pro men I really admire. So I enjoyed the environment. Paul K was running the pro meeting, and it just got me in the mood. And then when I got out of there, I kind of got to take a lay of the land of Lake Placid. And did you ever race there? It is spectacular.
Yeah, I did in 2010.
All right. I had no idea. I never raced there, and I really feel like I missed out. So it's this gorgeous village in the Adirondacks. Like it's really beautiful.
It's really
there.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so I'd been like such a bad mood, all this travel, overnight travel, so tired. And then I was like, oh my goodness. It was a good wake up call. It was a good life lesson of like, you are so lucky that you get to do these things and go to
Uh-huh.
these places. And I never would have realized this place existed if it wasn't for triathlon, if it wasn't for taking all the flights and driving and just having all that confusion. And so it was a
Mm-hmm.
very good lesson of just being like open minded to these things. And I needed that sort of like, kick in the butt. And so I was really glad to be there. It was so cool. Just I got to sag for Brittany for her ride, so I got to see a lot of the bike course. I saw the swim. I meant to go swim, but I ended up talking too much and missing my time to swim. Surprise, surprise. I kind of do that now. That's why I miss out swimming. So it's like Mirror Lake is a kind of a small lake, and they had the course set up right there, and you could just get in and swim. And I was like, I want to because I love like that kind of temperature, like low 70s, and it was a beautiful day. And
Wait,
that's the only
did
thing I
the
missed out on
course
was swimming the course.
did the course change?
No,
I
I think
heard
it's always
some.
been the same.
Is it still the same? Okay, because that's what I thought. I could have sworn someone said something about the course being different or slightly different, but
Maybe.
I was like, why
I
would
mean,
they
maybe
change
there was
it?
like a little
It's so
things. I know
iconic.
one year they had something slightly different because the Olympic Oval, where they stage a lot of it, was like under construction.
Okay.
But everything was staged on that like Olympic speed skating oval, which is so cool. It's outdoors. It's right by this giant high school. It's like right in the center of
Yeah.
town. And the lake is just so beautiful. And
But the lake has that tow line that you can just follow, and you
yes,
don't need
that's
to
why I
like
wanted to
actually
see
cite the
it. I was like, I gotta go
buoys.
see
Yeah.
this cable line, and I just didn't quite. I didn't
Uh-huh.
quite do that. I spend too much time talking, but I love talking too, so it's hard. My two loves, swimming and talking. But I I did not get the swim in, so I'll have to go back. But it was a very cool place. So I mean, it's a miracle when you get to see the behind the scenes that they can broadcast there because there's not a lot of cell service.
Mhm.
You're in the mountains. But it was really fun from a broadcast perspective because it wasn't that hot. You can walk to everything. We were able to get out on the swim. I felt like I needed a little bit of a warm up. It'd been a few months since I had been on the broadcast, and I was there as the only field reporter. But and then the swim start was like so loud, and so my first two hits were not my strongest. But then I felt like I got better throughout the day. I got to do some cool interviews. We got to walk out to Papa Bear on the bike course. It was such an
Ooh.
unexpected race because we were expecting like
Uh-huh.
huge groups of people, of pros, to come through the
Yeah.
swim together, and it was like a little choppy, I guess, a little windy and cold at the start, and it just the Martin Van Riel and Laura Hernandez Tomei, they just like broke up the swims and like were just drilling off the front, and so we had these like really spread out races all day, which from a broadcast perspective is very nice because it's easier to spot people.
It's easier, right? They're not all like clumped together where you're like, oh,
Yes.
there's like this person, this person, this person.
Yeah, and I got to be on more because I get to like talk for a few minutes in between the athletes coming by, which is also very nice for me. I think it was, and it is nice when you don't have like 20 men coming through and trying to say all their names.
Wait, tell
So
me about the Neil Henderson interview.
Yeah, so Neil Henderson, he coaches both Ben Canute, who ended up third place, and Chelsea Sodaro, who is the 2022 Ironman world champion. But
Wait, I didn't know he coaches Chelsea.
yes, I think that was like new in the last like couple years when she moved to Boulder
Okay.
and and switched coaches, and so that was kind of neat. So he was able to talk about both of his athletes, and he's a legendary coach. I mean, he's coached so many top athletes. I think at
So
times
I know him from like the Sufferfest videos.
okay, I haven't. What are the
'Cause I-
Sufferfest videos?
Okay, so they're like these cycling videos that Wahoo actually bought Sufferfest, but they're these like really funny training videos where before it was streaming, you would actually like you had to pay and you would own the video you would like download it for like I don't know $12.99.
And it would be like a workout, and he would like lead
yeah.
you through a workout. Okay.
So, well, I think he's one of the main coaches for like that whole program. But every now they have
Wow.
like these like just these like really funny sarcastic skits where it's like this fictional country called Sufferlandria, and it's all
Oh.
about like suffering. and it's
It's
funny.
just the key to your success. Do you still do these videos?
I do sometimes, like once a year. Although they may have stopped that, they used to do like a tour of Sufferlandria like in the early spring. So I would do like 7 days in a row, and they're like really hard. They're really hard videos.
I believe
I don't do them
it.
as much anymore, but yeah, the whole thing is about suffering more, and they call it's not sweat, it's holy water.
That's so funny. But yes, well, Neil's a very nice guy. I've been coaching for a very long time. I got to chat with him for a while, and I think as a little behind the scenes, like I don't necessarily know how long these interviews have to go. And so
Okay.
I'm kind of like planning them out in my head on like how many questions, and you always want to have more questions than you need, right? But like,
Yeah.
so I have like other topics, and luckily Neil is a great talker, and so it is where I'm like
both
I
of
could-
you were just great talkers.
we could talk. We could have talked for like probably an hour, and it would have been fine. And so that was nice, but you're kind of just talking, and then eventually I'll get like a signal from my cameraman or my handler, like telling me to wrap it up. And so and that one was
Do
my
they
best
do the
wrap
little
up.
like circle,
Yeah.
finger circle thing?
And I did a really good job on that wrap up, and they actually that's like I got some good feedback on that one, so that was really nice because I will get feedback during the day on like how things are going, and I think that that's been a good thing for me on like handling some criticism and being able to like do better. And I really appreciate that, like both from Gerard and from Jamie, just like who was from Ironman, the handler, that like because they're listening to the director and they're getting that.
Yeah.
And they'll get feedback from there, like pronunciation of names when I mess that up, and it's good. Like I like that because those are like people who are invested. Like they're not internet trolls, right? I don't necessarily love the feedback from internet trolls, but like if you're taking feedback from like trusted sources, so
yeah, it's like
people in
legit
the studio,
feedback.
yes, I'm making the production better. I love that. And so I've been trying to work on things. And the hard thing with broadcasting and commentating is you really only like the true practice is live performance.
Yeah.
And so I've only been able to do that 4 times. So I'm trying to get a little better each time. I still, mess up. It is a live performance. So things
Yeah,
are going
because you
to go
can't
wrong.
really practice it.
Yeah, I do try to study. Like I do try to study like just people's names and just so I kind of have an idea of how a race might play out. And we do have a meeting where we kind of talk about those things, which is very cool. It's very cool because I also can think about that for me last year. I'd be like, oh, I had a cool cap color in Kona. They had to talk about me. I don't want to know exactly what they said because I'm like, some of it's a little brutal. Where I'm like, oh, she might be near the front in the swimmer. Like maybe they're like, nah, she's a good swimmer, but she was probably too old. I'm just kidding. Oh. But yes, because this was 41 for me, my cupcake year. But
Yay.
I'm very proud of making it to 41. But But anyway, no, it's very thoughtful and just making sure they're showcasing the athletes as well as possible and pronouncing names correct, and that's like something that is they care about a lot, and so I do care about that, and so I did mess up a few of those, and I'm working on it and trying to get better at that. But my Neil Henderson interview, I feel like was one of my best moments of
That's awesome.
commentating.
Well, and what was it like seeing Paula Finlay like win her first Ironman?
Oh, it was so cool. I mean, I'm a huge Paula Finlay fan, and she was doing her first Ironman ever. So I know she had a lot of questions, and all of us had a lot of questions. Like, how is this going to go? Because she's had so much success at the 70.3 distance and middle distance, but Ironman is a different animal. And she crushed it. Like, she was so composed all day. And even in the early miles of the run, when Marta Sanchez took the lead, she kind of let Marta go and then reeled her back in and then created a little bit of a gap and just had a really, really solid day. And I think she was tired afterwards when I get to see her. And then I did get to interview her after. And she did seem really happy, and her team seemed really happy. And that's fun too. Cause I think I said that on the broadcast, like Paula's a very honest athlete. Like she is a very honest athlete, and she didn't know if she'd end up liking Ironman and how the day would go. And she felt like she could do it, but she wasn't sure. And I think that getting that validation that she could do it and that she could do it really well was special to her. So that was very, very cool. I was really glad I got to see it. I mean, the women's race was so good. Marta Sanchez came in a close second, and they raced so fast and so well. And it was cold in the morning, and then I think it got a little warmer throughout the day, but it was not the like hot that we see at some of the other Ironmans, which was nice. Like I was like, I'm a huge fan of that race. I mean, it's a hard course. It's very hilly on the bike and the run, very, very hilly. But it was like a high of like 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And so that's just very different for Ironman and just makes it a little more pleasant for spectating and for commentating and for racing and running especially. And then I think it was also it's a nice spectator course because the bike is 2 laps, swim is 2 laps, the bike's 2 laps, and then the run's also 2 laps, but it's like 3 out and backs. And so you're able to see people. They come back kind of into town and you get to see them quite a bit. And just made for a really, really entertaining race. And Martin Van Riel obviously crushed the men's field, had just an incredible race. Matthew Marquardt chased him hard and went for that second place. And then third, Ben Canoe. I hope I did his interview at the end justice because, you know, he was pretty emotional. He's had some like ups and downs over the years. And I think.
But then I saw his dad did this race. Like back in
1999. Both
That's amazing.
His dad and Neil Henderson had done the race in 1999, the first year they did it, his coach. So, but I know that's why my interview with Neil was great.
Wait, was that the first year they had it?
Yeah, 1999 was the first year they had it.
That's the year I graduated high school. That doesn't seem like that long ago.
Does it? I know, and that was like, it kind of shows how recent our sport is, but Ben was there as like a child, and I think he even stood on like the third place podium
crazy
in 1999, and then he got third when it was a Pro Series race, which is very cool. And the race for third in both the men's and women's field was really tight, and so Ben just passed Jason West, who had passed him.
That's right.
In those final miles, and it was such a good race. And then for the women's side, Rachel Zelinskas held off Lisa Perder and Tamara Jewett. Tamara ended up getting 4th, and Lisa was 5th, and they were all within like a minute and a half, the 3 of them. And so when I'm doing these finish line interviews, like I'm kind of back behind the finish line, listening to the race. They had a big screen, so you could see it there, and I was like prepping. Like I prepped kind of questions for Jason and for Ben, and then I'm like, which ones am I going to use? And then I prepped questions for Rachel and Lisa, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it might be Tamara, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so part of me was like, I'll just wing it if it's Tamara.
Tamara because you're her swim coach.
Right. And so I at least I know Tamara and I kind of know the women, but you want to ask technical questions about the race. And so I am back there like trying to kind of like write some notes in my phone. I did terrible battery management in Placid. Like I usually in Texas I had 2 battery packs, like because you're just out all day. And I had like one battery pack that was only I thought I had charged it, but it was only at 18%. I tried to charge, so my phone's at like 10%, and I'm like kind of writing these out. And then you can't use the questions because they do these interviews in like one take, right? And so you're asking, and like for Ironman, you can ask a few questions, like I might have gone on a little long, but that was some other feedback. But it's also they're giving me good answers, and you know, and sometimes you need to warm up, and then they get warmed up, and they're answering questions. So, but I'm kind of like just in my head doing 3 interviews back to back to back, like all in one shot. And so it's fun, like it's a big adrenaline boost, and so that was for the women. It's like I don't know who I'm going to be doing, and Rachel ended up being 3rd place, which was very special. She is another Georgia Bulldog, and I think on the broadcast I did get accused of a little bias toward Rachel, which of course I am.
That's right, because you guys both swam for UGA.
Yes, 10 years apart, but once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. And I mean, I'm biased toward all the women, to be perfectly honest. Like I've had experiences with most of them, so it was just great to see Rachel back healthy. And I think Tamara's run, she ran a 2:48 run, came so close, and that was actually a great performance for her. And I think Grace Tech had a good race. She's like up in the she's first in the Pro Series now, and Marta Sanchez might be second.
Wow.
Like a lot of women got really good Pro Series points at that race. So it was just fun. It was very fun to watch, and just a great venue. And it just had that, I mean, I know we overuse the word vibe, but like Lake Placid has that old school vibe, right? It feels like old school
Yes.
Ironman. And I'm like, oh, I
Yes.
love this. Yeah. So I would highly recommend that race to anyone. It is a bear to get to. Like, it is hard to get there, but it's beautiful.
So I remember it. So that's actually the last Ironman I did before I ended up moving to Delaware, not knowing that I would be moving to Delaware, because that was like the summer I did a whole bunch of the North American Ironmans. I did Lake Placid, and then I shipped my bike to Delaware where the bike shop was. Then I took a train from Lake Placid to New York City, where one of my best friends was living at the time. So then I got to hang out with...
There's a train that goes from Lake Placid to New York City? Wait, there's
Yes.
a way I could have done it without driving?
Yeah, because I didn't drive. I think I might have flown into Albany, and then I had a friend whose parents like drove me to Lake Placid because I didn't rent a car. And then I ended up shipping my bike. Like, I think I had also shipped my bike to a bike shop in Lake Placid, but then I like shipped it from Lake Placid to Delaware, a bike shop in Delaware, took a train from Lake Placid to New York City, hung out with my friend who lived in Manhattan at the time for like a few days, and then took the train from New York City to Wilmington, Delaware. And I've been here
in Delaware ever
since then. Yes.
Wow, what a adventure. And also, I think this just kind of showcases some of your resourcefulness. You were one of the most resourceful professional triathletes I've ever met. All different modes of transportation, bike transport. You utilized every one of them, and it's so impressive.
Yeah, I was also very poor, and so it's like, rent a car, that's expensive.
Was expensive. It's still expensive.
It's still expensive.
Yes. But well, next time I gotta look into that train situation. But I did not quite plan that well, not quite as resourceful, but that's why I have another job. So, but that's what the other rest of us do. But I have a job to pay for our other job. But congratulations to everyone who raced Lake Placid. Vanessa did finish, so she that was just really, really cool. I got to see her finish, and
it's amazing. And it was her first pro race.
Ironman. Yeah, it was great. And like I said, Brittany's gonna have some redemption. I think she's planning to do Northern California 70.3 in a few weeks. So use that fitness for another race. So she's okay. It was just a bummer. I think I do feel like
stinks.
She got I think she got kicked in the head and got a little disoriented, and I wish they maybe had a resting platform they could have just like let her sit on for a second, and then I think she could have gotten through that. But it is hard also when it's that borderline like wetsuit, and then the pros are non-wetsuit and everyone else is wetsuit. I
think that's how it was when I did it like 16 years ago too, and that was super frustrating.
Because it's cold. Yeah, it is cold if it's like when it's borderline and you're in no swim skin. And so anyway, these are like people have tough days. Chelsea Sodaro ended up having a really tough day, and I think it was good to kind of talk with her after she did finish. She validated for Kona, but at one point we all thought she was gonna run her way into first place, and it didn't happen.
How was dinner with everybody? Did you get the tea?
I got so much tea.
Oh.
There's no tea. What is professional triathlon tea? Yes, everyone told me all their secrets. No, it's probably me sharing all my secrets, which also no one cares about. They're like, Haley, that's so boring. I'm like, no, it's scandalous. And they're like, we truly don't care about that spreadsheet you made, that scandalous spreadsheet.
Tell us about your health insurance.
That's truly, I'm like, let me tell you about my deductible. That is my life these days. But it was a great experience, and I'm so thankful I had that experience, because I think Texas was challenging for me, and I was like really tired after that race, and I went into that tired, and I just like was like, oh goodness, is this worth it? And I felt like it was a little bit of a risk going to Placid, and but I felt like that went well, and I was by myself, I was the only field reporter there, and I feel like I did okay, so I was like, that was a nice feeling where I was like, I handled this okay, like being the only field reporter here. I do.
But you got to wear more colors.
Yes, I got to wear that Pro Series shirt with the some red and pink, and
We saw the neon shorts.
Yes, they get a little glimpse in there every while, but I think that now, and so it is. I feel like I'm getting a better rapport with like Gerard, my cameraman, and Jamie, my handler, and just like we're getting to know each other better and work together better, and hopefully that's showing off in the broadcast as well, and we're putting out a better product. And then it was nice having Dee Dee in the studio because I know her well. I guess we are able to like I could have a conversation with Dee Dee. Like that is how now the headset works and everything like that. But I was like, I didn't quite have the confidence. I was just worried. I was like, what if she's in the bathroom? Because I can't see her. Like I can't see her on the screen. And so I was like, part of me like wanted to ask a question, but maybe in the future, I'll like organize it a little bit more. And then, because I think that would be kind of neat. Like I have some ideas for the broadcast, but mostly it's just like me, saying the right things, but haven't dropped any F-bombs. I feel like I've been mostly professional. So far so good. But after Placid, I drove back after the race that night, I drove back to Albany, worked in the hotel the next morning, and then at the airport again in my special work room, and then flew back to Bozeman that night.
Wait, so that was Monday night?
Yeah, Monday night. So I worked like a full day Monday, then flew back, and then worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was my birthday, and then, which was wonderful. I will say, gosh, like, I am so thankful for all the people who like texted me, because 41 does feel a little anticlimactic, and I didn't really have anything planned because it was a kind of a crazy week, and I had a lot of people reach out, and it just made me feel very special, which was very nice. So thank you to everyone who did. Yay. That was like very nice, including you, Jocelyn. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But then Friday morning at like 5:15 a.m., I got on a plane to Boise. So I was also working on Friday. So I like literally flew to Boise. I worked in the Salt Lake airport for like an hour, and then I flew to like from Boise.
Wait, how far is it from Bozeman to Boise?
It's a 7-hour drive. I was like, I can't do it. There's no way. I can't do it. Like 2.5 crushed me like going to Albany. So I was like, I can't drive. And I was like, just this way I was able to like not take a day off work. So I flew Bozeman to Salt Lake, then Salt Lake to Boise. So 2 short flights, and I was working in between. I worked in the Boise airport. So I worked in 3 different airports in a week, like Albany, Salt Lake, and Boise. I think I flew to Chicago on the way back. I'm doing like the tour of the United States. I've been, where have I been? I've been to like Vegas, Baltimore, Albany, Chicago, Salt Lake, and Boise. In the last 8 days. I know. I'm like, and at one point this year, I was like, I'm never traveling again. And here I am. I'm a liar. But anyway, I've worked in like so many airports, but Chicago I did not work in. I was too tired. But I think I got to Boise, worked there for a little bit, then kind of hustled over and made it to the the pro panel and pro meeting. Because again, I was like, I love going to those things when I'm not racing. It's so fun. Yeah. And I got to see people, and that was just like, it's really, really nice because you get to like, I do miss them. I miss my competitors.
Of course.
And I'm getting like a big dopamine hit by going to these races and getting to see people and just be part of that environment again. And to be perfectly honest, I feel like I've been in like a pretty bad place for like the last 6 months, like, just like personally. And I feel like I'm like, oh my goodness, over the last 2 weeks, I'm like, I think I've come out of it, and I'm like, even though I'm tired and everything, but I'm like, I feel like I'm doing a lot better. And I've even said this to you, Jocelyn, I'm thankful for you keeping me going on this podcast, because there have been a lot of weeks where I was like, I want to quit. I'm like just putting that out there.
And I'm like, no, we have our 100 listeners.
I know. And it is you and the 100 listeners who've kept me going. And I think it's also helped me with my commentary skills. Like having this podcast has actually helped me, because it does force me to talk and think about triathlon and interact with you and do some interviews. And I do think that's where some of my broadcasting skills have come from and stayed a little bit sharp. And so I am really, really thankful for you. So thank you. And like, I do meet people who listen, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, it's not just my mom. So I'm really really thankful for you. But
You're welcome. But I also was telling you, you're also helping me process my own post-retirement, which I never did like 15 years ago. So thank you for having me.
I'm glad you can do that because that is rough. Like retirement is rough. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I have more on that in a minute, but I do feel like I can't imagine not having 15 years to like take that because like the last 8 months have been a little tough for me, and everyone asks me that, and I'm like, don't ever retire. Keep doing this as long.
It's
But
like
no,
it's hard because like nobody really understands it unless like it's someone else going through the same thing, and you're just like, well, I don't know, like who do I talk to about this? Like I think I said before, like I should have went to therapy about this, but I never did.
right? Because especially you had a big injury with yours too, and that's like
Right.
extra traumatic. Like I am sorry I wasn't there for you 15 years ago, but you are still a beloved member of the triathlon community. I want maybe you need to come to like an Ironman sometime and just even we'll just hang out and then
Yeah.
that'll be fun. When Ainsley's older, we can go and then you'll really get to process it. We can just go to a pro meeting, see what it's like now, especially when you're
Yeah.
not racing. But it's really fun. Or just go to the pro panel when everyone else is like really nervous and you're like, oh, I just get to like watch. But well, you'll feel that in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a big enough race that I feel like it feels that way. You still have that same atmosphere.
Yeah, because I did like notice ran into people that I hadn't seen in like 10 years at nationals, like when I did it 2 years ago, and I was like, whoa, this is cool.
It's really cool. And especially when you see, I think these women like Michaela Jones, I imagine she might be there. Who's like Ironman world champion and just like Olympian and, just Olympic
and she
medalist
was, yeah, I'm her friend on Facebook, but she recognizes me enough. But I was just like, when I was 18 years old, you were like my hero.
It's so cool, and it's so cool to see them racing and still racing and racing age group now. I think it's so cool. So, I am glad. I'm excited for you to go to Milwaukee, but for Boise, this was my first time commentating and being on the broadcast team for a 70.3. And that was also very interesting because, oh my gosh, it goes so fast. Like it's so
because you've only done
fast.
the Ironman ones.
Yeah, and with Ironman, you get like a little bit of downtime because we couldn't like in Placid, we weren't gonna like go out on the bike course because you don't want to like create more traffic on the bike course. Really, like you don't want to make it less safe for any of the athletes. And in Boise, it was also crazy because that lake gets so much wind in the morning, and so
they canceled for the age groupers, didn't they?
Yes, they canceled the swim. So when they had this race before, I never raced it. Did you? You never raced Boise because they had it in like the 2010 era. And then it went away, but it would start at noon. And I always wondered why. And I guess it's because like every morning it's very windy at the lake and then it calms down. And it's just like to do with the geography and the weather patterns around there.
Okay, I didn't know it started at noon. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it used to, but now it's now it starts in the morning. It's sort of like 6:30 in the morning, and so it's really really windy. And I mean, getting to see because some of the behind the scenes on Ironman making that decision, it's so impressive. Like it's really like Paula Newby Fraser was, she's like, okay, we're gonna make it 2 laps. We're gonna bring the watercraft safety vessels in closer, so they have to cover like a shorter distance.
Okay.
And like just the troubleshooting and like the problem solving that is going on behind the scenes trying to give these pros a fair and a race that they signed up for was, I mean, Ironman was working really, really, really hard. A lot of people were, the race directors and the safety watercraft vessels, like working really hard to make a safe race, but also a race that was, a true 70.3 race, and they pulled it off for the pros. And so the pros were able to swim a 2-lap course. They changed it to a 2-lap course with an Aussie exit. So they ran onshore in between. And the amateurs they unfortunately did not get to swim, but it was rough conditions. Like I think that was the right call. Like having been there and seen it, like it was the right call. And it's so fortunate they were able to do and safely do the pro swim.
I'm actually really impressed that they let the pros do it, because I feel like anytime they've like canceled the swim completely, it's always like, well, the pros should still be able to do it in harder conditions because they're pros. So I don't know that I've seen a race where they had the swim for the pros, but not for the age groupers.
Right. And a lot of that I think hinges on the safety vessels, if they can get out there. That's a lot of it. And I think by making it a shorter course, like they could just concentrate all the safety vessels in a shorter area, and like they were able to do it. So it was so impressive. A lot of stress for a lot of other people, and they delayed the start. And I got to do a quick long interview with Danny Lewis in transition. And it's also very hard because there is no Wi-Fi, cell service like out of that reservoir. It's just because of the geography of it. And so they, Ironman and BCC like set up this like Wi-Fi network around there, and like they had Starlink, and they had we had like a special Starlink tower. So that's why we weren't out on the swim. Like we were in transition because that was where they could set up and get the connection. But getting those connections was so hard. And it's kind of like Lake Placid. Like when you get to see the behind the scenes, you appreciate so much that any of your races were broadcasted, right? Because these races are done in really tough locations that just don't have service and don't have the infrastructure, and we're able to broadcast these incredible pictures. And I just have a new appreciation for the broadcast and for Ironman putting these races on.
They didn't used to be broadcast, so I'm impressed, like, even when everyone's like, this coverage was so bad. I'm like, you know what? Back in the day, you were lucky if you got a finish line camera.
Right. And there's a reason for that. I mean, it's really hard. And they have like professional motos. There's like 9 cameras out there. It's so hard. It's so hard. Like, and that's why anyone who says these things, like, I am in a position that's like a hill I'll die on, and so I won't fight anyone. There's a few things that I'm like, oh no. I like, having seen this behind the scenes, I'm like, I am a big defender of that now, so send all the trolls my way. But I think it was well done given all the challenges and having been there, and it was like really well done. It was a hard swim from what I understand, like a really hard swim, but they did it. And I think it does help legitimize the pro series and those points and that were earned in that, and the finish positions by the pros. And it was, so, and then we were able to get out on the bike course at the turnaround point, which was kind of neat, and do some commentary out there with Danielle Lewis and Jody Stimson, who I'd also worked with at Ironman Texas. And then Danielle lives in Boise, and so it was really nice. She could help us like navigate.
Hometown hero.
Yeah, and talk a lot about the course. And so she's didn't race, and they both had raced there last year, and so that was nice. They could kind of talk about the course, so they were able to fill in the pieces that I didn't know because I haven't raced there, and that was kind of neat having their kind of local contributions and just course specific contributions. And then it was an exciting race. On the men's side, Sam Long won by a lot. And then on second and third and fourth, like all that was like so close. And so that was another one where I'm like behind the finish, and I knew I was doing the finish line interviews, and I was like, who's it gonna be? Like, and I will say, like, those interviews are really short for a 70.3. Like, I was given very specific instructions that I couldn't do what I did in Placid, and like where I like let people talk, and I asked a lot of follow-ups and all that, because, and the reasoning, again, there's a very good reason, because the women are still racing, and the women's race is really exciting, and they don't want to pull away from the women's race for so long. So this is also like a cause I feel very strongly about. It's like equal coverage. And again, I'm giving Ironman a lot of credit here because getting to see the behind the scenes, there's so much effort that goes into equal coverage of the men's and women's races.
That's great.
Yes. And to the point where they're like, Haley, stop talking because you're taking away from like the women's race. And so I'm like,
you're not the women's coverage.
No. So like in an ideal world, if the swim hadn't the issues, I think they were going to have a 10-minute gap between the men and the women, which would have been really cool. And then another 10-minute gap to the age group athletes. So they had this plan where it's like very fair racing. And unfortunately, because of the delays and having to change the swim course, they only had a 5-minute gap. So it just tightened things up a
and
lot.
then when did they send off the age groupers?
They might have sent them off still 10 minutes later, but they did it time trial by bib number.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit different for the age groupers. And, but I think, so it's a little bit of a bummer they didn't get to swim, but it's a solid race. And, I think it ended up being a pretty fast course, and it did warm up a lot. I was pretty hot out there on the run, but it is shaded. And so, that I think gave some relief to a lot of the athletes, and the pros are done early enough that I think it isn't too terrible, but it's still pretty warm. But, Kirsten Casper on the women's side came away with the win. So I think she was pretty pleased. She had fallen back a little bit on the bike and then had a really, really strong run. And
she's pretty new to 70.3, right?
It was only her third one. It was only her third.
Okay.
7.3. And she's done some short course racing this year, some like WTS races. And I think she still does want to compete for a spot on that LA 2028 Olympic team. But obviously also is very strong at the 70.3 distance. And Hannah Berry was second, and Hannah DeVette third. Lydia Russell was fourth, she was storming her way there. And it was similar where I was like, oh, who am I going to be interviewing?
Okay.
And so, which is exciting. It's exciting, but I also probably I need to get a little bit better at that, of like managing, like watching the race and also kind of prepping for those interviews. Even honestly, I found it even a little bit harder with 70.3, because sometimes I'm only supposed to ask like one question, and I'm like, if you only get one question, you gotta like make it count. And so and also you sometimes need a little warm up, right? Like an easy question, and then you can ask a harder question and get them talking. But I had a little more time with the women, because I'm only, I'm prolonging the broadcast maybe, but I'm not cutting out of anyone else's race.
Right. There's no one after them.
Right. So it was, but again, I'm learning, and I feel like I'm getting better, and hopefully that comes across. And I think this has been really good for me as a person to just have this as sort of a job/hobby and just a way to stay connected with the sport. I did have a couple of age group athletes race in Boise, and a lot of friends from Bozeman as well, who I don't coach, but I know really well.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, because it's borders
7 hours away.
Montana, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it touches Montana.
It's only 7 hours away. It's basically I think it actually Coeur d'Alene had an age group race. That's 6 hours, so it's a little bit closer. Yeah. But it is, it's one of the closest races to us. So there was a big, a decent group of people from Bozeman. So that was really fun that I got to see them race. And Dylan Gillespie, who actually raced pro, he was healthy enough to race, and I swim with him sometimes. So it was cool. Everyone finished and had solid races even in the heat. And so it was neat to be able to see some people that I knew out on the course, and then kind of celebrated a little, and then headed to the airport and flew back last night. So it's been a little bit
back in time to podcast.
I did. I made it back this week. I made it. I was like, I'm here. I'm ready. This was ambitious, but not overly ambitious. And so, but Jocelyn, I got to tell you about this. I had the moment of a lifetime at the Salt Lake airport. Can I tell you what happened?
Yes, tell me everything.
So as I was getting my bag off the plane in Salt Lake, so I flew Boise to Salt Lake and then Salt Lake to Bozeman. So I'm getting my bag, and then someone behind me is like, Haley. And I was like, who knows me? I love it. And guess who it was? You'll never guess.
Someone famous?
It was Paula Newby Frazier. Yes. So she won 9 times, 9-time Kona champion. I think I have that right.
Oh my gosh. I used to have magazine posters of her on my wall in college. Yeah.
Exactly. And she knew my name, recognized me. I was wearing neon shoes, but I had changed my shirt and I'd put on sweatpants, so yeah. I definitely had, I was just like, this is a life highlight moment. Paula Newby Frazier recognized me on an airplane, and she does work for Ironman, so we had chatted at the race.
Sure.
It hadn't been that long, but I was just it was so cool. And then I got to talk to her a little bit, and she was so kind. And we did actually, we was talking about retirement, because I was saying how this is rough, and she's like, yeah, it's rough. And so she's someone who knows for sure, even more than me.
Exactly.
I didn't even get top 10 in Kona, and then she won it nearly that many times. But anyway,
That's so cool.
that was a life highlight. And I honestly, I was so starstruck. Like I was worried I left my phone on the plane. Like I was like walking. I didn't know where I was going. I'm just like walking with her in the airport. And like I don't know what gate I'm going to. I had no idea where I was going. But I was just like, I need to make this moment. I'm like trying. I was like, and then at a certain point I was like, I don't know if I'm going the right direction, whatever. And so I was just like, I need to go to the bathroom. And so like I was like, bye. And I like go to the bathroom and I was like, like crying because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. And like again, it was like the version of me that just got into the sport, you know, the 2008, 2009 version of me. I'm like, I've had a rough time over the last 6 to 8 months, but I was like, maybe this is like, it's okay. You know, it's okay. Cause I'm like the 2008, 2009 version of me that has like, that did have, had those posters, had those magazine covers with her on them. Like now knows her. And I was like, okay, maybe it hasn't been for nothing. You know, it has been really cool that I had this chapter of life. And even though I kind of feel behind in my professional accounting career, and I was like, why did I do that? You know, why did I step away? I'm like, oh, it's because of this. Because yes, I have a 26-year-old boss and all my coworkers are 22 at my level, but I get recognized by Paula Newby Fraser at the airport. Like life is good.
That's amazing.
I cried in the bathroom for a little bit, and then I was like, okay. Then I had to like call people. I was like, did that really happen? I need to like. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm blacking out. But it was cool.
But so, you didn't get a selfie with her.
No, I should have asked her for a selfie. I told her she made my day. I did say, I was like, you just made my day. Because I was like, I am in cloud 9 right now. And I mean, part of me is like, why couldn't I was like, am I cool enough? Like, I should have looked because she had a connection too. And I was like, we could have gone and like, maybe we could have gone on a beer or something. But I'm also like, be cool, Haley, be cool. And I was like, I just gotta go to the bathroom. I did actually need to go to the bathroom, so it wasn't a lie. But part of me is like, okay, that's something you'd like hold it to hang out with Paula Newby Fraser, but maybe there'll be another chance someday.
That's super cool. That's how I feel about McKeely Jones. But I have asked her for selfies, so I have some pictures with her.
Next time I will ask Paula for a selfie. I'll be like, and I'm gonna send it to you. But I hope you can get a selfie or just hang out with McKeely at Nationals. That will be. We are just living again our 20-year-old dreams.
Exactly.
And I think we have to remind ourselves of that sometimes. I was like, because my first Kona in 2009, my friend Betty and I, we were truly like taking paparazzi shots of like Paula Newby Fraser with like my flip phone. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, there she is. And like just taking a picture of her like getting into the car. I was like, oh. Yeah. Because when I got into the sport, I did a lot of research and I was like enamored by the greats of that era of the 80s and 90s.
And then when I raced pro, my coach was like, do not get starstruck. Like, you're the same as like everyone else. So I do kind of regret, I don't have pictures with all the people I was like starstruck by, but you would like bump into these legends like in the hotel because everyone stayed at the same hotel. And I was like, I don't have pictures with anyone because I was like too cool. And I was trying to be too cool. And like, it was like, coach said, like, don't get starstruck. Like,
I feel like that's bad advice.
I know. I'm like, I could have had these cool pictures with like all these people.
I know. So now we take them now. But I will. Next time I am going to ask Paula for a selfie. I will. I'll be like, Paula, I know this is so weird, but can I get a selfie? That's such a good idea. I mean, when people ask me for photos, I'm like super flattered. So I feel like I don't know. It was, I hope I get another chance. So we'll see. Hopefully I feel very motivated, honestly, after that to like continue to improve at commentating and broadcasting. There's still things I can do, studying I can do, you know.
Well, they obviously need you because you're like the only on-field reporter.
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 in Boise. I feel like but I do feel like even that was like, it worked out. And, you know, I think it's a tough job and, you know, you have to travel to these races and and so that is a lot, but I do think even though I've questioned it, like especially on my way to Placid, I was like, is this worth it, you know? And then having gone through it now, I'm like, oh, that was absolutely worth it. And I think that was like that meeting with Paula was honestly a sign where I was like, this is worth it. Like, you are doing this, like it's not
That's so cool.
fame and fortune, you know, that kind of thing, because it's not really like paying my bills, but I do think it is paying my soul, and that's what I really needed. And so I was like, okay, this was worth it. Like, even if I had to work 6 months to pay for these, first 6 months of the year to pay for the second 6 months of the year, and then I end up at 0 at the end of the year, I'm like, hey, that's okay. That's like what I basically have done for the last 12 years. So, it's like, I get to do all that, and I have better health insurance. So I'm just like, maybe it has been worth it. And that's been a very nice realization and helped my mental health greatly. So maybe life is looking up. So thank you for bearing with me in my moodiness for like the last 6 to 8 months.
It's okay. You're always in a better mood after we chat.
I am in a better mood after we chat. And so it sounds like we gotta give you a little time and space to prep for nationals. So we might have a couple weeks before we check in again. So we'll see if I can get someone else on next week, and then or next 2 weeks, and then we'll hopefully get a nationals update from you after Milwaukee.
Gonna be putting my head down and swimming a lot so that I can, not disappoint my relay team since I'm first leg.
And all your fans from the podcast.
All the podcast fans.
Invested. We're going to be heavily invested on that tracker. What are those dates? Tell us the dates. Just so
okay, it's August. Hold on, let me look this. So, I want to say like August. We fly on August 6th, so that's Thursday. So it's the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay. Great. Mm-hmm. It's on my calendar. I'll be tracking. I'm very excited for you, and mostly excited for our recap. But Jocelyn, thank you so much for chatting and letting me opine on all my broadcasting adventures, and just keeping my adrenaline buzz going and dopamine hits and all that. I'm like, yay for being in a good mood.
And your 41st birthday. Woohoo!
No, it's been a big week, but cheers to you. How's that? Is that vodka drink still going down okay?
I finished it. I do feel a good buzz.
Good work. Yeah. What a Sunday night. Well, Jocelyn, I'll chat with you in a couple weeks, but good luck with those swims, and I can't wait to hear about nationals.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.